Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya. Today, I'm so excited to finally start decorating for Christmas. Like, I know that I already did my daughter's bedroom and my bedroom, but now it's time for the main living areas, and I am just so excited. It is the perfect day for it. It's cloudy. It's actually snowing right now. It just started. This is the first snow of the year, so I just couldn't plan a better time for this. And my kids are currently doing online school, so they're busy, but mom's gonna work down here and get started on some of these Christmas decorations. I do always like to have at least my tree up and some stuff started by December 1st. So today for sure, I don't know if I can get it all done in this video, but today for sure I am going to work on the tree and part of my living room. At least I have a ton of stuff this year. I have been collecting for a couple of years, but my my Christmas collection has kind of gotten out of control. So I'm excited to see what I do this year. I am going to change things up from what I did last year, but I have no plan in mind. So we're just going to go with the flow. So I'm going to bring you along with me. I hope you enjoy. Please like this video if you like this kind of content, and let's go ahead and get started. So this year I'm actually going to start working on my fireplace first. Normally I work on my tree first just because I know exactly what I want to do, but this year I'm kind of just going with the flow. Like, I picked up a couple of new picks this year, and I know that overall I want a look of kind of natural and free-flowing and kind of wild and rustic, if that makes sense. So I'm bringing in like whites, and then I got these picks from Hobby Lobby that you're going to see in just a second, and I got 4 of them, and they're kind of like a viney, almost, it looks kind of like a pine. I don't really know what the actual like plant name is or what it's supposed to be, but I thought it looked kind of Christmassy. And so I'm just cutting off like the individual pieces of this pick, and I'm sticking it into my garland. I've had this garland for ever, like maybe 12 years or more, and I'm just sticking this extra like pick pieces into the garland and kind of weaving it in. And what I want for it to do is kind of cascade over the mantle. And I think that this will give it a really natural and even like a more full look, because I just don't want it to look quite as structured as like it has in the past. And also I'm doing this thing where I'm laying it over like one side of the mantle. Usually I do it like straight across and it hangs evenly on either side, but I keep seeing this kind of mantle where it's like off center, and I love it. So I wanted to try it with my mantle and see if it works, and I really love the way it turned out this year. So that little vine that I'm showing you is from the Dollar Tree, and it is just like I guess it's a garland of little mini pine cones, and they're on a wire, so it's actually kind of hard to weave in, but that's just what I'm doing. I actually have 2 of these, and I'm going to weave these in just to give it a little bit more of a natural look. And also, if you're wondering, I did flock my garland last year and my tree. I have a video on that from last year if you want to see how I did it. but I was a little bit worried about adding this green pick in with the flocking because I thought maybe it would look weird, but I really like the way it turned out. It just like brought a little bit more green in, and I don't think it looks that weird at all. So you'll have to let me know what you think, if you agree with me or if you think it looks ridiculous. So I'm not going to completely finish this garland right now, just because, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I really want to kind of start on the tree so that I can figure out what exactly I want to bring over here. But for now, I do want to go ahead and hang our stockings. So I got these stockings this year from Walmart. They were $10 each, and I think they're so pretty. And then I just made these little wooden name tags. I have a video of some Christmas crafts that I did this year. So I'll link that below if you want to check this out, but that has like how I made the little wood name tags, and I just think that this is like the cutest touch. And again, I'm putting them all on one side because, like I said, I keep seeing this kind of off-center mantle, and I wanted to give it a try. And I have to say that this is probably my favorite year for what I've done overall for decor, so I can't wait to show you it all at the end. Next, I'm just adding a couple of random things. I actually had most of the stuff from last year. The 2 silver trees and the angel is something my mom got me. And I did pick up the little rustic twine tree this year from Hobby Lobby. I just wanted to add a little bit more wood into my decor this year. So now I'm unwrapping my tree. I just wanted to mention, I think I probably mentioned it in a previous video when I did my undecorate with me last year, but this past year, like, I took my Christmas tree downstairs just as it was. Like, normally I box it up and everything, but I like literally took it downstairs in the pieces and set it right back up in the basement. And then I just took some twine and like tied up the branches so it wasn't, taking up so much room. But that worked out really, really well for me. So I don't know how you store your Christmas tree, but I thought that that was a good way to do it for us. As you can see, this tree is kind of falling apart. Like, I have a branch that had come off that I kind of stuck in, and there's actually a second branch that comes off later. This tree is quite old, which it originally came pre-lit, and 2 years ago, my lights stopped working, so I took the time to cut out all the pre-lit lights, which took me ages, and now I just string it myself. I'm just too cheap to buy another tree. And then last year I ended up flocking it, and I can't help it. Like, every time I put this tree up, I think, man, this tree is so sad and I probably need a new one. But the thing is like, once it's all decorated, I just still love it. So I can't bring myself to go spend the money on a new one when this one still looks so beautiful. So a little update, we had to go out and get more lights because the lights I already had, apparently a few of them are not working this year, which is probably okay because I've had them for I don't know, 10 years. So it was bound to happen. But all the extra lights that I had are on this tree because it used to be pre-lit, and last year I had removed all the pre-lit lights because they stopped working, and I have been I strung the lights last year and I'm stringing them again this year. So those are my extra lights. So the 3 that were not working, I had to replace. So we had to take a little break, but we're gonna get back to it. I don't think I'm gonna get it all done today. So there's probably gonna be a day 2 of this, but that's not a big deal. So the good thing about this taking forever to finish is that my kids got done with school. So my daughter actually gets to help me now, which is fun because they do like to help decorate the tree. My son, he's older and he doesn't really want to do all like the lights and the basic ornaments or whatever, but I do like have ornaments that like the kids have made over the years, or I do like buy them an ornament a year if they pick one out and want one. And I keep a bag for each of them, and each of them gets to string their own ornaments. And my son actually still likes to do that. So that's kind of cool. So later, not in this video, but later on, he actually got to put his own ornaments on there. And that's kind of special for them to do every year. So next I'm just taking some ribbon and I'm just kind of weaving it in and out. I really didn't know what I was going to do with this ribbon, but I had picked up this white ribbon a while ago and I knew I wanted to bring in more white to the tree. And then I had this gold ribbon that I had used last year in the tree. And last year I actually used gold and burgundy ribbon. So I knew I wanted to keep the gold because my star is gold. So I'm just tucking in the gold also, and I did just kind of go diagonal down my tree, and normally I would go like random for the ribbon, but I kind of liked the way this looked. It almost looks like a wrapped present, but I'm going like every other for the ribbon, so it's like gold, white, gold, and I'm gonna do that like around the whole tree. Now I skipped the back because there was no point in wasting ribbon for the back when it's up against the wall. But you'll see towards the end how it ends up kind of looking, I think, pretty sweet. Now, my daughter didn't love the way the ribbon looked as I was doing this, which was kind of funny. But at the end, she's like, oh, no, I like it now. So I know it doesn't look excellent right now, but once it's all said and done, I just am really happy with the way it turned out. So next, this is kind of random and weird, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this, but I'm sure other people do. I just haven't seen it. But I had this like batting in my craft supplies I've used like for years to make pillows and who knows what other kind of projects I'm using this stuff for, but I just had like a little bit in my stash and I decided to bring it up and just put it randomly in the tree, and it almost makes it look like there's like little piles of snow in the branches. I really like the way that turned out. So I don't know if other people do that. I have seen people use like fur ribbon before, but I haven't seen that. And then these like huge picks I got this year from Michaels, and these are probably my favorite addition to my Christmas decor this year. They are so big, but I love them. They're flocked and they've got a couple different kinds of like pine on them and then some pine cones, and I have 4 of them. So I'm just sticking them in kind of random places on the sides of the tree. And I know it doesn't look great right now, but I'm going to fix them and kind of fluff them up a little bit and stick them in just a little bit more. But like I said before, I really want the overall look of everything to be just a little bit more wild and natural. So I didn't want a perfectly like structured tree. I wanted things to kind of stick out here and there. So that is what I'm using my picks for this year, if that makes sense. So this was like a really big statement. And I know, like I said, it doesn't like look the greatest yet, but once I work in all the other picks, like I really think that this is probably my favorite part that I did to the tree this year. Here I have some poinsettias that I just picked up from the Dollar Tree. I just got 3 of these picks and I am clipping off each individual poinsettia and I'm sticking them just randomly in the tree. And I'm also going to add a few to my garland as well. And that's just going to help tie in my garland to my tree. So the reason I wanted to start my tree first, like before finishing my garland, was I wanted to see kind of what I had room for on the tree and what I had extras of that I could put over on the garland. And I didn't want the garland to look exactly like the tree. So I don't know. I was just kind of going back and forth to see what I liked. And it did take some experimenting for me to get where I wanted to be overall. But like I said, I just really love the way everything turned out. So now that we have all the picks in and it's looking kind of awesome in my opinion, we are going to start adding in just our like basic ornaments. So I have lots of silver and gold, both the larger ornaments and the like average size ornaments. And so with the larger ball ornaments, we're just like sticking them inside the tree where there's any kind of holes that would like show the like that it's an artificial tree, if you know what I mean. So like we're filling in those spaces with the bigger ball ornaments, and then we're just kind of randomly putting the other ones on. And I also am adding in burgundy ornaments, so that is like my pop of color this year. I used burgundy last year as well, and I really, really, really like the like deep color. But I'm not using all of the same ornaments as I did last year. So I'm just like picking and choosing, and I am doing less burgundy than I did before because I do want it to read overall like white and winter, and then adding in the touches of burgundy. So as you can see, I'm moving back to the garland because I had extra ornaments, so that's why I was going back and forth. So I added some gold ornaments first, and then I'm just like bending the little ornament hook over pieces of the branches, and that's what's holding them onto the garland. So I'm just going to add some burgundy ornaments as well. And the last thing I did with the garland that I did not show in this video because I had done it as an afterthought because I had forgotten, but I added a string of lights as well, and that really brought both the garland and the tree together. So moving over to the couch, I'm just going to add some throw pillows over to both corners. Some of these I've had for years, and then a couple of them I did get new in the Kohl's Veterans Day sale this year, and I really like the way that that's turned out. So a little update on my couch. If you've been following me for any time, you know that this couch is old. Like, we have lived in this area for, oh my goodness, like over 13 years. And we had this couch before we even moved. So we've been looking for a new one that like meets all of my specific requirements, and we finally found one. So hopefully we're picking it up this weekend. So this might be the last Christmas with that couch, and I can't tell you how happy I am about that. So moving on to this little half wall, it separates my dining room from my living room. I am just adding these little village houses. These are a part of my Christmas Craft With Me video as well. They're just Dollar Tree houses that I painted and added some Epsom salt snow to. And I really like these, but I have to say I wasn't sure how to do an all white village. So you'll see here, I'm just like playing around with it, and I don't end up liking how it turned out. So I'm going to work on it more, and you'll be able to see it later. Okay guys, we are back with day 2. I just couldn't get it all done yesterday, so I'm just going to continue on in the living room. I was like working on the like little village yesterday, and something about it is not quite right for me, so I'm going to work on that a little bit more. And then I have my chair that I want to put a blanket and pillow on, and I want to decorate above my pictures above the couch. And then I have my side table to do in here still. So I'm going to work on those. So originally I had kind of planned on breaking this video up into 2 videos because I feel like I have a lot to decorate, but I ended up missing my Tuesday video just because I decided I wanted to get everything done and put it in one video. So that is why you are getting a pretty long video today and no video on Tuesday. But as you can see here, I just took off that greenery that I had added to this like village area, and then I have these like 2 crystal little jars. One's like a toothpick holder and one's just a jar, and I put those underneath 2 of the houses just to kind of raise some of it and give it a little bit of like interest. And then just like redid trees to kind of hide the little jars. And then instead of adding more greenery or something to the village, I am just tacking in a couple of these little finishing nails into my wall, and I'm adding this garland. So this garland is almost as old as my and my husband's relationship, which is like really old. So I got this years ago, almost 2 decades ago, from Dollar General. I can't even believe I still have this stuff, but that is just how long I keep things. So I'm just like winding this in, and then I'm adding some more of that original pick that I had added to my fireplace mantle. And I'm kind of weaving this in the same way because I do want it to kind of hang down naturally, and I want it to look kind of similar to the fireplace, but not exact. So I feel like I did that a lot with my decor this year. I did try to coordinate things, but not make it matchy. So every little bit looks different, but also very similar, if that makes sense. And I'm like really glad that I did that. So as you can see, it is like 2 different colors of green, and it kind of looks weird right now, but it will end up looking, I think, kind of nice in the end. And then again, I didn't show me putting the lights on this because I couldn't find the lights that I had over here for it. And the ones that I had, I thought didn't work, but then I found the ones that were meant for here way after I had filmed this. So you'll see it in the end, like when I show how everything turned out, but I couldn't find it beforehand. So sorry about that. I did weave in some lights. So like I did with the fireplace garland, I'm just adding in a few extra ornaments to the garland to tie it all together. And then I also have these like gold icicles that I used on my tree last year, but I didn't want them on my tree this year. So I'm actually going to hang a few of those off of this garland as well. And it's just like makes the garland do a little bit more of the uneven thing, if that makes sense. So it's just like less structured and just a little bit more free flowing and just interesting, I thought. So one of the places I didn't finish yesterday is the rest of the fireplace, and I did want to add a few things to the hearth. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that we have a lot of golf equipment in my house, and so that basket holds a bunch of golf clubs and like a bunch of stuff down in it, and then there's like a little mercury jar that holds golf balls. And so I did want to kind of disguise some of this with some decor. So I'm adding a couple pieces of greenery and just like some flowers and whatever, just to kind of make it like hidden a little bit. It's camouflage. I also picked up this little furry present. Like what? Drawing a blank on what it's called. I keep seeing these all over YouTube. So there's a lot of people who picked these up this year, but I had found it and I thought it was so pretty. So I put that on the hearth. And then also this wreath I've had for a couple of years, and that pillow I thought dressed up the other side. And then moving on to my chair, I'm just adding a furry blanket and this pretty pillow. And then I'm going to work on this little side table. And these little snow globes, you can see like a little hot glue hanging off there. I had made these in my Christmas craft with me. And so I wanted to add these to my side table just because I thought they were a really pretty touch. And I'm just taking some more of those picks, like the little viney picks, and some picks that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to like make a little like greenery around the snow globes and just try to make it look kind of natural and free-flowing like the rest of my decor. So above my couch, I have these two wooden signs. They're from Hobby Lobby. They came as a set, and I really like the way these look, but when I decorate for holidays, it always feels so bare over here. So I did want to add these picks. I got these, oh, I'm not even sure where I got these. Maybe Hobby Lobby. But I'm just kind of stacking them on top of each other and letting them kind of lay over the sides of the signs. And then I'm just going to add a few extra picks that I had from when I decorated my bedroom for Christmas. I'll link that video below as well because that one's a good one. I really love the way my bedroom turned out this year. So I'm just adding a little touch of those just because it brings in some of the flocking and also some of the red, and it tied it into the rest of the decor. So we are officially on day 3 of decorating. This is actually a couple of days later because my son wanted to help with some decor, but he had been so busy with school and homework, and he works and working out and things like that, he just didn't have time. So this was the first day that he actually had time, and it was worth it for me to wait because, you know, he's older and he doesn't always want to help with these things. But he said he wanted to help with this, so I waited for him. So we're just taking these garlands. These I have had forever. I actually flocked them last year along with my tree, and they were already pre-strung with lights. And of course, we hung these up and the lights didn't work. It was like, you know, like the rest of the decor this year. I don't know why. I never have lights go out, but this year so many were not working. So I don't know what I did wrong, but we ended up restringing them with different lights. And then I am adding more of this like viney pick to it to tie it into the rest. And along with this, we're going to add in some Dollar Tree picks. I got these like silver twig looking picks from the Dollar Tree this year, and I just thought that they were so pretty, and I had no idea where I was going to use them, but I knew that I wanted my garlands on the stairs to look a little bit more full and a little bit more interesting than normal. Normally I just leave them as the garland and the lights only, and I don't really put anything in them. But this year, like I said, I wanted to add some stuff in. So I'm going to add some of that silver twig picks in. I'm cutting off the individual twigs, and then we're also going to add in some Dollar Tree, like it's like sparkling leaves. I don't even know what, I'm terrible with plant names anyway, but I don't know what kinds they are. You can see them here, and I'm going to cut those as well and stick those in. And then we're also going to add some berries and pine cones. So that's everything that we're going to add to the garlands. So it's like a lot that you're going to see here, but I think that it ends up kind of pretty. Like it's different than the rest of the decor, but since it still has some of the same elements, it still all ties in together. And this is probably the best garland that we've done on the stairs over the years. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. My son was like doubting me during this process. You can see him trying to convince me not to do the silver picks, but once it was all done, I think he liked it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. So there you go. So I wanted to mention one of the cool things about decorating the garlands and the trees and everything this way, where I'm just sticking in pieces of things like the picks and the berries and the pine cones and stuff like that, is it's not changing the base of the garlands and the tree. So each year I can do something completely different. And I think that that's such a benefit when you're just starting with green and like adding in instead of buying like a pre-decorated garland or tree or whatever. It just gives you like a lot of versatility to change up your decor year to year. Now we're moving over into the dining room and the kitchen. I don't really do much in the kitchen, but for the dining room, I will do some decor. So I just added this little tree. It's a part of a set of 3 pencil trees, and I shared the previous 2 in my other Christmas Decorate With Me. I put one in my daughter's room and one in my room. So this is the third one, and I just put it in this like little silver urn, and I decided to go ahead and decorate it with flowers. And it's kind of different. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I just wanted to do something different. Since it's a small tree, it just was like too small for ornaments and regular picks. So this was kind of my way of adding something in without it being ornaments, I guess. And then I am adding a couple of these like sparkly eucalyptus that I had just to give it a little bit of that wildness like I have been talking about in the rest of my decor. Next up, I'm going to work on this hutch that is above my desk. I'm just going to add this little gold lantern and the star, and I'm just going to fill the lantern with a couple of pine cones and then a flower and a pick that I already had from fall. And that just gives like a little bit of visual interest. And I wanted this to be like staggered heights, and I didn't have any plan for this area, but I'm just kind of throwing over here some like decor that I had left over from other parts of the house, if that makes sense. And I'm just trying to make it look the best I can and add varying heights and whatever. So next up is on top of my fridge. I'm going to play with this a little bit, and actually it will change before like this. And you'll see in the end how it ends up. But I got this little Santa napkin holder from my grandma, and she gave it to me this past year. And then also that little salt and pepper shaker that you saw on my desk is from her. So I wanted to include those in my decor, even though they don't technically like go with the theme that I was doing, but I just love them so much. So that's why I added them. And now I'm moving over to my dining room. I always like to put a little decorative pillow on this 5th chair that sits over in the corner. That just sits there because it's like our extra chair, and this is our dining room. We don't have another one. So if we have anybody over, that is what we pull out. And then next I'm adding these little small wreaths to the back of these chairs. Now technically these are not wreaths, these are actually like little candle rings from the Dollar Tree. And then I took some of that garland that I put over underneath my little village, and I filled in the blank spots with it, added some berries and a little bit more of that like viney pick that I've been using throughout the video, and just like filled them out and made them look like actual wreaths. And I love the way these turned out. And I'm actually using the ribbon from Thanksgiving that I had put on my napkins. If you want to check out that video, I will link it below, because I did a whole video on preparing for like holidays and how we set up my dining room to have like holiday meals. And it's kind of interesting. So like I said, I'll link that below, but I'm just reusing these ribbons and I love the way it turned out because it's just like tying it to the chair, but also providing a little bit of an extra pop of color. So the last thing I'm going to do for my decor is work on my table. I have this Merry Christmas table runner. I think I got this from Target Dollar Spot maybe last year. Don't quote me on that, I'm not really sure. And I'm just taking some of my candle holders that I usually use over my fireplace, and I just thought that this would be kind of pretty for a table centerpiece. And again, I'm using some more of that garland that I used underneath my villages, and I am just covering up the bases of the candle holders because I just didn't like the way it looked. And then I'm going to fill this in with just some extra stuff that I had from my decor. Now, I did not use all my decor throughout the house. Like, I still have extra stuff left, but that's the way I kind of like it. So I don't know if, you know, how things will change over the years, but I do like to keep the things that I actually like because who knows how I'm going to use it each time. And then I'm adding in a few pine cones, and then I also had a couple of these picks that I've had forever. I think I got them from Hobby Lobby maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm not even sure, but I just wanted to bring in a little bit of extra color and texture over on the table. So here is how everything turned out. I have to say I am so in love with my decor this year. I hope you enjoy this. Okay guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up so that I know that you like this kind of content. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't ever miss a video. And I just want to wish you guys the happiest and merriest of Christmases. And I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday with your families. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.